State Senate President Russell Pearce has never shied from controversy.
It's my hero, Russell Pearce. He's on TV. They're trying to recall his ass. Let's see what he's got to say to slap them down.
State Senate President Russell Pearce has never shied from controversy. He's been a leader in immigration enforcement laws, and he has been a strong proponent of smaller government. A group unhappy with Pearce and his policies wants Pearce recalled, and early indications are that the group may have collected more than enough signatures to force a recall election. Here to talk about that issue and more is Senate President Russell Pearce. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about this recall election. It looks like it's going to happen. We still have some verification to go here. Your thoughts?
Well, there's still a lot to go through. But you know what? They had paid signature gatherers. And when you're out there paid hours and hours to be out there at every post office in mall, you're probably going to get enough signatures. We know that. But they were told stories that aren't factual, and people are quick to sign. So I look forward to the election, to be honest with you. I mean, nobody relishes additional election. I don't mind running every 2 years. Running every year is a little bit much, but we'll stand the election. I'm 16-0 in my district. I'm born and raised there. My family's born and raised there. People know me. They know who I am. They know what I stand for. And the thing is, I've done everything they elected me to do. Every year when I have an election, when there's an election, every time there's an election, first brochure I put out is promises made, promises kept. I do what I tell people I'm going to do.
I want to ask you about first of all, regarding the paid signature gatherers. Virtually every initiative in the state has that component. People are paid to do that.
So recall.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily unusual. But it would be the first recall election of a state legislator in Arizona history. I want to ask you, does it humble you? I mean, do you sit back and go...
Of course you do, but you have to understand, and I want to be fair, and I know there's some good people that have signed those petitions that are out there.
Good people.
But the folks that lead this, in reality, make their living off this, and you got the one guy who's a failed Democrat leading it, failed Democrat candidate for U.S. Senate against Kyle.
That Randy Pearce.
The other's an immigration attorney. People have to understand who these folks are. They've never been on my side. They've never been affair. They're not mad because I didn't do what I say. They're upset because I do what I say. They're upset about, securing our borders. They're upset about limited government. They're upset about good fiscal policies. I mean, we went into this session, and a lot of folks want to talk about the immigration issues, and I'm glad to talk about those too. 30 states modeling what we've done in Arizona. We're in front of the parade. But they forget the other things, A balanced budget had $1 billion deficit without gimmicks, games, bonding, an honest, balanced budget. We put out a jobs package. It's going to be huge for the future of Arizona, bringing jobs to Arizona.
Let's go back to immigration, though, because it sounds to me, reading this petition, that immigration was purposely left off. Real quickly here, the petition read that they need a leader who will pass laws to create jobs, to protect public education, and ensure access to health care for kids and those in need. They want someone who represents the beliefs of those in Mesa and all.
Again, remember, these aren't Mesa folks that are leading this.
I got you, but I do want to ask you, have you protected education, considering the cuts to K-12 and higher ed?
Let's go through that. I would love to know about it. In K-12, we had $1 billion. We've had a deficit for 3 or 4 years, been whittling down, trying to get rid of. And there were folks who still wanted to kick the can down the road. We came in and fixed, out of an $8 billion budget, a $1 billion deficit. And we fixed it with almost not touching education. When it's half of the budget, and it is.
182 million K-12.
Out of a 10 billion, just K-12 is 10 billion total dollars.
Exactly, but that's still $190 million hit.
Yeah, and pretty gentle. When other agencies, and that's a 2% reduction, when other agencies had a 10 or 15% reduction. So, people have to admit.
You did protect education. You think you did protect education?
I know we did. It was a priority with all of our members. And I know we did. And we also protected public safety, which was a priority. And with the budget as it is, with much of the stimulus money, federal dollars that tie your hands, some of the voter initiatives that have increases that are automatic and tie your hands, it was a feat that nobody thought we could achieve. Even the governor doubted that we could get there. We did get there.
The recall petition also mentions health care for kids and for those most in need. And again, when it comes to access cuts, those were pretty healthy, to coin a phrase here. That's tough stuff. Did you protect the health care needs of these folks.
Did we take responsible action ought to be the word. Absolutely. Arizona has the richest health care system in the nation.
Sucking the system dry.
You know, and you have to trim someplace. And like John Stossel said, if you think health care is expensive today, wait till it's free. We did reduce for childless adults. And we also put some reforms in there that we're fighting the federal government on for some accountability and transparency, co-pays. If you miss an appointment, we have $25 million a year we spend in access for non-emergency transportation. The term itself ought to be clear to you what it is. So we know there's some fixing that need to be done.
Okay.
It's unsustainable, unaffordable at the level we're at.
You talked about how people in your district know who you are. They know where you've been. They know everything about you. People in your district, do you think they expected you to do things, and we'll just list off some things here, do things like supporting Senator Scott Bungard? That was controversial. You supported a guy who now has
Let's get it straight here.
He was framed.
I said, even a senator has a right to a trial before you hang him.
That's right. Don't prejudge nobody.
Did you not support Senator Bungard?
I waited till the facts were out. Let me tell you, the truth is, he has a right to have his case heard. Nobody knew the facts at that time. Nobody had seen a police report. Scott, I've known Scott Bungard a long, long time. I know Scott to be a good man. I wasn't there when it happened. I'm saddened by the events, and I hope and pray that he gets through this. If he's innocent, that he's exonerated. And if he's guilty, then there's accountability has to take place.
But do you think the voters in your district were voting for a guy who would go ahead and kind of take the lead and get out in front of that particular issue?
Wait a minute. Media comes to me on a basis. I didn't take the lead. Just a little honesty would be nice for the media once in a while. They love to have me out in front of every parade. The truth is, they came to me about Scott Bungard, a friend, and I said, hang on, guys. He has right to a trial before we jump to conclusions. That's all I've asked, and I would still say he has a right to that trial, like any other U.S. citizen has a right to that trial.
Okay, something else that happened after the election, which those are for the recaller, saying this is not necessarily what people in your district voted for. The idea of the Fiesta Bowl.
Again, those aren't people in my district leading this. So let's get it. But anyway,
but the idea, they will get a chance. They will get a chance to vote.
Sure,
looks like they will. Yeah. The Fiesta Bowl revelations. Those were not out before the campaign, before the election. Do you think that kind of person represents that district?
Yeah, because the way the media portrays it, it's certainly a difficult issue. None of us, there are about 25 legislators that participated in working to bring a national championship game here. We didn't ask to go. They asked us to go. And I've got reports back there that show that. Even newspaper reports that admit that. They were back then, before it became a controversial issue. We work hard. I love the Fiesta. It's our nonprofit charity. Now, what went on behind the scenes, we had nothing to do with. Can't make up for that. Can't address that. Those allegations need to be dealt with. But I can tell you, every one of us sought legal advice before we went, including me. I shouldn't say everyone. I don't know. Some of them did. But I can tell you, some that I know of have. And the same legal advice I got from House counsel. These are legal, legitimate trips, and they were educational trips to benefit, to bring a national championship game to Arizona. And we did that.
But you had to amend your reports. You had changed the story regarding a couple of games.
I'm glad you're asking
the 05 Navy game became the 07 game.
Oh, no. That was a transposing of dates. None of the information changed. None of the information changed.
That's right.
The Fiesta Bowl says they never wanted you to go present a donation check. They never asked you to do that.
No, they didn't either. You don't check with them. You got staff there. The folks that were there have left. Simply not true. Okay. They presented a $25,000 check for the military reconstruction of an event there. Asked me to go to represent Arizona. I went. I checked with council before I went. The statutes are clear for a ceremonial event. You know what? If I want to go on a trip, I go. I pay for my stuff. I can show you, I pay for trips that I'm not required to pay for.
But the investigation suggests that there were trips in which there are no receipts and no one can seem to find you either paying for the tickets or paying back.
First of all, we were never told we had to pay for tickets, but I always asked for an invoice, and when I got an invoice, they were paid. My history shows that. I show lots of receipts. In fact, I have 4 receipts that I can't account for, that I've asked them for information on what did I pay for. They can't produce. They said, I don't know, and refused to give us the information We wouldn't give it to the media.
Willard did.
You know, so it gets a little silly here.
Willard did.
I never do what I can't justify and defend that's good for Arizona.
Last
and
point.
I do exactly what I tell people I'm going to do.
Last point, you speak about good for Arizona. We've just had this situation with extending jobless benefits, a special session that didn't turn out very special at all. Again, do people in your district, do they want a representative who looks at the opportunity to get federally appropriated funds into Arizona to help folks who are long-term unemployed and basically say, I forget what your quote was, something along the lines of, I'm not comfortable paying people to sit at home. Is that what people in your district really want to have?
There are some folks, you know, take advantage, and I've got stories of it. The point is, that's out of context, like anything the mainstream media seems to do. They have a hard time with the truth, and they've never let the truth interfere with the story. But the truth is, you know, we said, let's put some measures in to make some accountability. The federal government only requires you to sit home and get that money one day a week looking for a job. I said, you need to be looking for a job. So make us 4 days. Let's make you certify each week in writing, wherever you looked, and make sure it's verifiable, that we have a track record of what you're doing. That if you're going to get unemployment, then make sure you're looking for a job. With that, my members, again, they needed an emergency clause. My members, at one point, thought they might vote for something, many of them. And then the day before the special, they came and said, Russell, without some real reforms, not just the accountability measures you want, but without a jobs package, so we're putting people back to work, I can't vote for it. But I will vote for it if we can get all that together in a package.
But you understand how people who know we are unemployed or know people who are unemployed, family
members. I know folks
that
that are unemployed.
Well, and some people wonder if you do, because the fact that this money comes in without costing the state and actually pumps money into somewhat of a stimulus action.
Again,
they wonder if you understand the difficulties of some folks.
No, it's going to 2 years. 2 years without accountability, without transparency. Come on. The taxpayers deserve accountability and transparency. It's their money. It's not my money. I'm going to spend somebody else's money. If I'm going to spend somebody else's money, and the federal government has no money, I mean, every check they write should bounce. They have no money. But if you're going to take that money, all I wanted with it was accountability. Many of my members, and again, there were many willing to vote for it without that. But it took an emergency clause. I didn't have 20 votes. Without those other measures, there weren't 20 votes. My members have a right to have a, you know, they don't want to just write a check, you know. They want to make sure we create jobs. Let's put them to work. And that's what it's about. So that was the debate.
The bottom line, extending unemployment benefits, Fiesta Bowl revelations, Scott Bungard and other actions, up to challenging the 14th Amendment and trying to get nullification of federal, that whole situation, which didn't get too far, but it was certainly out there in the press. We talked about it on this show. All those things, you feel as though the voters who put you in office expected that from you.
I have been on this issue for years. Yes, they did. They know me. That's exactly what they did. That's what, you know, in my brochures it makes it clear. I win overwhelmingly in my district on these issues. They want fiscal responsibility. They want accountability in government. They want transparency in government. They want borders secured. And again, everybody forgets about Rob Krentz was murdered during the debate of 1070. Everybody forgets about the 12 police officers murdered and maimed that are City of Phoenix police officers. And just a month ago, 2 officers shot, 1 died. A couple in Charlotte, same weekend, murdered by the landscapers. When is enough enough? I intend to continue to do what I think I'm sent to do. And respect this Constitution.
And you are ready for a recall election.
Stand up for families.
You are ready for the election.
Yes, I am. I stand for what I stand for. I've never varied, and I do what I promised to do. This will be the first recall effort in the state of Arizona where they're attempting to recall a guy because he did what he said he's going to do. Keep my promises.